Hi, boys and girls. This is Grandma Sheilla, and it's time for another story. Our story today is called Lizard Tales. You know, not like a lizard story, although this is about a lizard, but it's about the tail of a lizard, you know, his little squiggly tail. So, you know, some stories I think are almost better if they're read, and this is one of those, so I'm going to read it to you. Oh, Dad, I'm so excited. I'm going to catch a lizard. The ranger said that if you catch it by the tail, its tail will fall off, and then you'll grow a new one. Oh, I want a lizard tail so bad. Dad looked at her and he said, "What are you going to do with a lizard's tail?" "Oh, I don't know. I guess show my friends, I suppose," Karen replied. "Well, I guess you can start looking for your lizards on these big round rocks," Dad said. "There's sure a lot of rocks here in Arches National Park." Well, Karen's family was on vacation, and they had been camping for a week at different campgrounds. And each evening at those different campgrounds, the ranger had told them stories and sang songs and showed them pictures, and all the campers had enjoyed it. Well, one night, a ranger brought a little jar with him, and it had a lizard's tail in it, and he showed it to everybody. He told the campers that a lizard can lose part of its tail if it gets scared or it feels threatened. Whatever is chasing the lizard will just have a piece of the tail then, but the lizard will be able to get away and hide. It doesn't hurt the lizard any, and then a new tail will grow back where the old tail had been. That's when Karen decided she needed to get a lizard tail to take back home and show to her classmates at school. "Oh, look at those huge round rocks. Can we climb up there and eat our lunch way, way up there? They look so smooth and red and big." "Okay, Karen, we can eat up there if you and your brothers help carry the lunch," Mom replied. "You must also want to bring a sweatshirt in case it's chilly." Well, the family piled out of their car then, and they ran over to the trunk to help get the food for the lunch. They ended up carrying the sweatshirts, the sandwiches, and the cookies. They climbed up to the top of the highest round rock and sat down to eat. Well, after eating their lunches, Karen and her brothers started exploring. The rock that they were on was about as tall as a semi-truck. You know, the trucks that go down the freeway? And it was a long ways down because that big rock was sitting on top of a bunch of other rocks. "Be careful not to get too close to the edge," Dad said. "It's a long ways down." Just then, a small lizard skittered across the rock. It had been sunning itself on the top of that warm rock. Slowly, Karen crawled after the lizard, hoping to be able to sneak up on it. The lizard had its eyes closed. It had stretched out in the warm sun. Carefully, Karen scooted closer and closer. She carefully reached out her hand toward that tail. Slowly, slowly, she scooted her shoes closer to the edge. The lizard was just over the edge, sticking out her hand. She could almost touch it. Just then, her shoes started to slide over the edge of that huge rock. "Dad," she yelled, "help! I'm falling!" Karen looked down. It was so far down to the ground. Who cares about a lizard tail? I just need help, Karen thought. Well, quickly, Dad came running and grabbed Karen's arms and pulled her back up. "Oh, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I got so close to that edge. I thought I could catch the lizard, and then my shoes started to slip. I almost fell all that way down." Karen pointed down to the ground below them. "Long ways down there." "Karen, I'm so glad you're safe. If I hadn't been watching you," Daddy said, "I might not have been able to catch you before you slid over the edge." "I think we've had enough excitement for one afternoon. Let's carry our lunch things back to the car," Dad said. Well, back in the car, Dad said, "You know, Karen, God is always with us and will always be with us. God was taking care of you today and helped keep you safe. According to Hebrews 13, verse 5 in the Bible, God says, 'I will never leave you nor forsake you.'" And Karen, Daddy said, "Neither will I." So God will always be with you. That's a promise. And God never forgets his promises, boys and girls. "I'm so glad that God took care of me today," Karen whispered. And aren't you glad that God was with Karen and saved her? Thank you, boys and girls. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.